We're taught certain things about relationships our whole lives. But what if one of the biggest assumptions we make is just wrong? Today, we're going to dig into the science of love and commitment to ask a really big question. I mean, think about it. Most of us just assume that monogamy is, well, the best way, right? It's the gold standard for a happy relationship. It's all over our movies, our books. It's what we're told to aim for. But is that just a feeling? Or is there actual science to back that up? Well, researchers actually have a name for this idea. They call it the monogamy superiority myth. And you know what scientists do with myths? They put them under the microscope. And this is what I find so cool. They're not just asking, hey, which one's better? No, they're calling it out for what it might be, a societal myth. The idea that monogamy is just inherently superior in every way. So how in the world do you even begin to test something this huge? You can't just do one little study. No, you have to go big. We're talking about the ultimate evidence review, a giant meta-analysis that pulls together all the existing data to try and find a real, solid answer. And the source for this explainer, it's a massive review from a super prestigious journal, the Journal of Sex Research. So just to be clear, this isn't some random opinion piece. This is the real deal, a serious look at years and years of scientific research. And when I say they went big, I mean it. They didn't just glance at a few papers. They crunched the numbers from 35 separate scientific studies. And get this, across all those studies, they had data from almost 25,000 people. That is a huge sample size, which means the results we're about to look at are incredibly powerful. Okay, but before we jump into the juicy results, we got to make sure we're all on the same page. What are we actually comparing here? The researchers were really specific about their definitions, so let's quickly run through them. First up, the easy one, monogamy. Pretty straightforward, right? One single exclusive partner, both emotionally and sexually. This is our baseline, what we're comparing everything else to. And on the other side, we have what's called consensual non-monogamy, or CNM. And the most important word there, the one we really have to focus on, is consensual. This is not cheating. This is all about relationship styles where everyone involved knows the deal and agrees to it. Now, CNM isn't just one thing. It's a big umbrella term. You've got polyamory, which is about having multiple loving relationships. You've got open relationships, where partners can have sex with other people. There's swinging, and there's even this category called monogamish, where a couple is mostly monogamous but has agreements for certain exceptions. And the cool thing is, this research looked at all of them. All right, the stage is set. We know the terms. We know the study is massive. So what happened? What did the science actually say about who's happier and more satisfied? And here's the big reveal, the punchline. The myth says monogamy leads to more satisfaction. But the reality, according to all this evidence, there was no difference. None. People in both types of relationships reported basically the same levels of happiness. That whole monogamy superiority myth, the data just didn't back it up. But hold on, because the story gets even juicier. No overall difference is the headline, but it doesn't tell the whole story. When the researchers started digging into the details, they found some really fascinating and, frankly, surprising things. For example, remember those different types of non-monogamy? Well, when they looked at relationship satisfaction, something wild popped out. Folks in monogamish relationships, they actually reported being significantly happier than people in strictly monogamous ones. How about that? Okay, and what about trust? The common stereotype is that non-monogamy must be full of jealousy and suspicion, right? Well, the data says the complete opposite. People in consensual non-monogamous relationships actually reported higher levels of trust. And it kind of makes sense when you think about the level of constant open communication that's required. The results for sexual satisfaction were also pretty eye-opening. Turns out, people in swinging and polyamorous relationships reported being significantly more satisfied with their sex lives than people in monogamous relationships were. So let's recap. Overall satisfaction is about the same, but in key areas like trust and sexual satisfaction, some non-monogamous folks are actually reporting better outcomes. So why does any of this matter? What's the big deal? Well, the implications are actually huge. For one, this kind of data smashes a lot of old stereotypes. It could help reduce the stigma and even discrimination that people in non-monogamous relationships often face. And it's a huge wake-up call for healthcare professionals, therapists and doctors, reminding them that there isn't just one right way to have a healthy relationship. At the end of the day, here's the bottom line. The science is pretty clear on this.
Your happiness in a relationship doesn't come from the label you put on it. It doesn't come from the structure. It comes from the quality of the connection, from things like communication, respect, and trust.
So, if the rule book for your relationship doesn't guarantee its success, it really makes you wonder, what does? This research suggests the real secret isn't in the structure, but in those universal things that make any human bond strong: honesty, communication, and just plain old mutual respect.